Welcome to another episode of Detox Your Mind. We welcome you all back. Still before the election, so if you haven't voted, go ahead and vote. Still early voting going on. November 3rd is voting. Election day. So yeah, if you don't vote early or send in your ballots, absentee ballots, mail-in ballots, still got election day. Today, I got with me this beautiful, wonderful, lovely cast of people.
Oh, my bad. I be on my own shit sometimes. Yeah, you know I'm a big-ass child sometimes, so I just be off in my own zone.
So, we're going to
Back to the
start.
intro.
Introduce yourselves.
Oh, Chrissy.
This your boy Clev. I'm back. We back in the building, man. Here for the shits and the shenanigans. We want all the smoke. Let's get it.
Piece of paper, please. I'm sorry.
Just a piece?
For this out, because I feel like I'm in their ear, like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
The ASMR people going crazy with you right now. Oh, can she chew louder? Where's the lotion? Chew some more. Yeah. Is that spearmint? Yeah. She on that orbit? Hell yeah. Yeah.
So, initially, what I wanted to talk about today was mental health and some of the issues men face. But seeing that we have two ladies with us here today, we're also going to speak about some of the issues women face as well.
Right on.
So, first off, have any of y'all have had, encounters with mental health?
I definitely have.
Okay.
I definitely have.
Oh,
Absolutely.
alrighty,
The
Joker.
Joker is on my t-shirt. He my daddy.
Is it me or it's getting crazier out there? For sure.
Should we be worried?
Nah, it's cool. Left the strap at the crib.
Uh,
Blah!
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, what encounters have you had, if any?
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to get so deep right now.
Get in there,
So
Tiger.
soon. I've had encounters with depression and anxiety, which, going to therapy for once to 4 times a month. But yeah, I don't know how more deep you want me to go into that.
I mean, you could dive how deep you want. I mean,
I'm a pass. on
it's
that
your
one.
diving board.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to dive.
All right. Clever?
Definitely experienced some, I don't know. So I feel like, especially in like our community, black community, a lot of this stuff comes off as like is treated as taboo. I know I've just had my own internal battles, like any other person has, and trying to navigate those waters and trying to get to a place of balance can be challenging at times. And but yeah, it's something we don't address. I don't feel like we address it enough, or openly address it maybe. And it's just kind of like more often than not, it'll be like, nah, just don't talk about that.
So you
know.
think seeking help is what's taboo, not the actual problem?
Yeah, no, not the actual problem. The addressing the health issues, the mental issues, the internal, whatever, when it's emotional and it's all of that. I think the taboo part is, trying to address it, trying to treat it as something real instead of, you'll just be all right. Hey, you know what? You're just gonna be okay. Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
You know.
In our community, we do that a lot. Like we, like you to back you up on that. It's so taboo, but I think the condition itself is taboo. Like nobody wants to say. I rarely have ever heard a black man say, "Yeah, I suffer from depression," or "Yeah, I get anxious. I have anxiety." And a lot of people, they don't even take that serious when you, like, I feel like a lot of times when I speak on, because I push that a lot because I've dealt with depression and anxiety, and it's like, I feel like people don't even take it serious. A lot of people don't even think it's a thing. So it's like, and especially in the black community, girl, like everything, you better go to church, you better, we gonna be praying for you. Or
Don't claim that.
everything don't claim that everything should, everything
Don't claim.
appears like it should be fine. So, like, I don't really
Yeah.
understand why you're having such problems. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like people don't really
Mm-hmm.
take into consideration the internal battles that every person
For sure.
fights.
I agree.
It's so
Yeah.
weird to me.
Part of that I think is because, you know, you can't touch it, right? Or you can't. I can't look at you and be like, you know what, Dito's having a depressed ass day. Look at his nose.
Because
You
that's
know what
like,
I'm saying? That's a depressed nose if I ever seen one.
my
You know,
God.
like it don't work like that.
No.
You know what I mean? So I think to some people it feels superficial, and then they're just dismissive of it, which sucks. You know what I'm saying? I think there's better ways to go about it than that. So it sucks to see people be dismissive about it. Even if they know they've had their own stuff, they'll look at you and be like, you know, he okay. You know what I mean?
you got through it before. You can get through it
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So, but it also, but on a more encouraging note, it feels like maybe the tide is turning some with so many people being more willing to tell you about some of their personal struggles and the things they've been through. I think that encourages people in a way to not be so scared or timid to talk about what's going on with them. And yeah, I've dealt with that before and blah blah blah. So it seemed like the tide may be turning in some ways, even if it's still moving kind of slow. You know.
So what do you think is like some of the causes of the mental health issues? Like you said, depression, anxiety. You know, I mean, for men, I see more, I guess, anger issues.
I say like your environment, certain traumas that you experienced maybe in your childhood. I would think that those are, I mean, for me, that's what caused my mental health issues, is just relationships and experiences that I went through.
I think for me, the relocation was a big stressor. So relocating here from up north, that was one adjustment in itself, but then all the adjustments that came after that, and just trying to make sure that, like, I'm good, my kids are good, like, we're in a whole new environment, they're going to new schools, I'm dealing with a new work environment, the pay scale down here is horrible, a lot of my
That's depressing by
a
itself.
lot of-
Put you right into therapy, B.
And
Y'all
look,
paying
and on
what?
some real, like, me
Yeah.
and my therapist talked about that, because I was
Yeah.
like, you know what, the funny thing is, like, yeah, we always suffer with things, and there's different triggers and everything, but, like, finances are a big trigger for me.
Sure.
So, like, when I'm
Definitely
going
a
through
trigger.
stuff financially, like, it definitely will affect my anxiety and, like,
Failures too.
and the depression, because it will make you, it starts to just, it's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
It's like the first domino to a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so.
That's
For
so
sure.
true.
Nah, I agree. Money. You know, dealing with those financials, man. Like, but people don't like to talk about that. Again, it's just
And that's why.
Don't I talk about
or
what,
admit it.
finances or?
Yeah, they don't. People don't want to. Is at least in my experience. I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but everybody not necessarily trying to tell you when they're struggling,
Yeah.
or if they're in a tough spot, or if, you know, by the time you verbally hear that from somebody, shit is bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad. It's gotten to a point like they're at a point of desperation now, and now they're finally trying to say something about it. You know what I mean? Because it's, especially with, like, if you look on social media, everybody rich as far as I'm concerned.
That is literally
Everybody
how
rich.
Hello.
we live.
Balling.
We live in a social media
Balling.
society,
Everybody
and,
rich.
like,
Oh my God.
everybody wants you to think that they got
Bruh.
money.
Balling.
Everybody wants you to think they chilling on yachts every weekend.
Balling.
Everybody wants you to think they can afford
They just bought a
Birkin bags
house.
and all of this
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I don't know if y'all just saw what was going on with Sweetie and the controversy
Yeah, the
about
Birkins,
the
yeah.
or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so real people like us,
Yeah.
like real everyday people who get up and go to work or work hard on our own small businesses, and like, it's like, people, that's not real and that's not cool. Like,
Yeah.
we live in a weird ass society. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
You will be on Instagram and you will literally be like, I'm the poorest person on the
Right.
planet.
I'm the
Right.
poorest
It's
person
me.
I know, like.
It's me. How homeless am I? How homeless am I?
That's crazy because I saw I watched Joe Rogan this week with Matthew McConaughey on it.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Miami, and Matthew said that when he was in Miami, he saw a guy there with a purple Lamborghini taking pictures, and he asked him, "Is this his?" He's like, "No, I rented it so I could put a picture profile on Tinder."
Yeah.
And he says while he was there, 2 other guys walked up and paid the guy $50 to just stand next to him and take a picture.
Yep.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what's crazier, right? Let me tell you what's crazier. It's gonna work.
Of course. Of course.
Like, is it?
Of
So how
course.
crazy is it that they're doing it, or is it crazier that it's
it's
gonna work?
I think it's crazier.
So we're fucked on both sides.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because it's gonna work. They wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't gonna work. It's gonna work.
That's a hot mess.
Them Tinder profiles gonna be popping. Yeah. Oh, he got a Lambo. Them shit's gonna be popping. For sure. Like, it's gonna work.
Until you
So
get pick up in a pinto.
right,
Right.
when he hit you with the "we going Dutch," right? It's a
Yeah.
Dutch date, right?
You gonna be like,
Okay.
Well,
Quick.
can't find my checkbook.
Pick you up in the Lambo and take you to Applebee's to get the 2 for $20.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I'm shout out to Applebee's. I don't want y'all to think I don't like Applebee's.
Got 2 for
But he picked you up in a Lambo.
Yeah.
Picked you up in a Lambo.
I love that. I'm not trying to spend any money. Let's cook.
Nah, this how the rich stay rich. You want this 4 for 4? Give you that speech. You want this 4 for 4?
So y'all think finance is one of the biggest issues that would bring on these mental?
I think it's a huge stressor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do we get people to start talking about their finances?
Normalizing broke.
Normalizing normal. Normalizing normal again.
Yes.
You know what I
What is
mean?
the word? Normalize.
Normalizing. I'm cool with that. Nah, let's rock with that. Let's rock with that. Put that on a T-shirt. Normalizing
I think
normal.
I said normalize a ling ling though.
Nah. Yeah, nah. When did it become? There's so many. I have a whole bunch of when did it becomes. When did it become? There's a bunch of them, but one of them is certainly just when did it become uncool to just be regular? You know, like when did that become? Oh, that's whack. That's you lame.
Yeah, like-
you lame.
You
I
gotta,
be,
you gotta get up and go to work, and you're not, when
I
you
seen
get paid, you can't, what?
I see people be bullied for having jobs.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy.
It's very.
I don't know what kind of world
That's
we're living in right now,
crazy to me.
We're living in a fucked up world right now.
Yeah, man.
I think
So-
talking about them, but I think it's a lot, it is becoming more in the forefront, and I think especially in the Black and brown communities, we're starting, because we're trying to find ways to change what our current state is. So
Sure.
I think a lot of people are more sharing financial information and sharing tips and things like that. But it's really hard to start those types of habits when you've never had them or never been shown before. And another big one for me is when you are a normal person living check to check, it is really hard to get ahead financially. Like, I don't care what kind of plan you have, like, regardless of whatever, in order to save anything, you have to have a budget where there's money left over. So you gotta make sure you're living well within your means or under your means, you know what I
Sure.
mean? Which is hard for everybody in the balling society we
Yep.
live in today,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure.
I know me personally, I'm huge on finances. I was to the point of I donated plasma to put gas in my car.
We talked about that.
Yeah, now mind you, even though, and that was like a prideful thing because I could have called my parents, but didn't. And it taught me some things personally, just in terms of again, living below your means and stuff like that. And there was a point whereas I was literally eating off the dollar menu. And it came a point that I realized I'm here going to McDonald's every single day, eating off the dollar menu 3 times a day. But then when I added it up,
Yeah.
I said, you know what, let me go to Walmart. I went to
Yeah.
Walmart, bought
Listen.
some bread, some eggs,
Nothing-
lettuce, tomatoes,
nothing
and I was
will-
eating egg sandwiches
Bruh, nothing
for
will
weeks.
Nothing will bust your soul up more than looking at your bank account and seeing how much money you spend on food.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did that
Or
rather
makeup.
recently. I did it in like January, and I was like, "Oh, who are you? Who do you think you are, sir? To be around here spending this kind of bread on food? I gotta get some groceries. I had to get some groceries, so I'm in the kitchen. I'll be in the kitchen now.
You do?
I'm dead ass. I'll be in the kitchen now.
I
Yeah,
think
I'll be
quarantine
cooking.
did that to you too.
Nah, this was before the quarantine.
okay.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness for real. Like I had because it was just it was stupid. It was stupid. Uber Eats.
Oh, that's expensive.
Bruh.
That's a whole light
I've never
bill.
used Uber
If I
Eats, but I still.
showed you what I spent at Uber Eats, you might I don't know. You might look at me
No.
differently. Like it's crazy. I just like what is who are
Nah,
you? You are
if
not.
If you see mine, you might change your mind.
I was and it was just adding it up, and you be like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like this is crazy.
I hate that I have that Albert app on my phone, and it'll definitely shoot me a message and be like, "You spent $300 on in
Listen.
restaurants in the last month," and I'm
Listen,
like, "How?"
I wish.
Like,
shocked.
how? No, but
It's crazy.
No, I shouldn't get that alert. That's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, just trying to. I don't know. Even when the money is flowing, I still have anxiety about the money. I don't know. I feel like because my mother was always like fighting an uphill battle, you know, to make sure everybody was gonna be cool, and it was just something that she stressed about. So I think I naturally stressed about it, even though I'm pretty cool, you know. Like, but it's something that's always lingering. It's like, man, I just you ever think about like worst case scenarios? I spend a lot of time thinking about worst
All the
case
time.
scenarios, but mine are stupid.
I can't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't open up the can of worms to worst case scenario.
But-
Then I call Crystal crying. I'm depressed. Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
gonna
my
be
God.
homeless.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
I've definitely made myself homeless before after like earthquakes in Florida and stuff that don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done that to myself. Like, oh, if the aliens come from Independence Day, what am I gonna do? You know, I don't got enough money to pay the aliens off. Like I sitting, you're like y'all laughing, but I've done this to myself before. And like, oh, this is you're being ridiculous right now. You're being
Yeah, a
ridiculous.
little bit.
Yeah, like. So it's my mother stressed
It
about
is
it. It's
real.
just something that's always on the forefront of my mind. I think.
Anxiety is definitely real, and I don't know if any of you have ever had a panic attack or like an
It's the
anxiety
worst.
attack.
I thought I was dying.
Yeah, it feels like a heart
It
attack.
feels like a heart attack.
Can y'all speak towards that, Summer? I've never had a panic
Like
attack.
I remember being at work, and I'm not even thinking or stressing about anything here. It's just my heart is like, and then you're like,
Physically, you in a whole zone physically.
like I can't even catch my breath.
Wow.
And then it's like you have to focus your mind on something else. So like rub your ears or like look at a clock and like focus on the numbers. But that's a physical. That's like
I didn't know any of those tricks. Those are good.
Oh.
Like, I didn't know that.
yes, girl.
Yeah, my first anxiety attack was horrible. I was getting dressed for work, and again, same thing. I wasn't thinking about any one particular thing that had me thinking I was stressed. I just knew that I'm a mom. I have 2 kids at the time. I work full time. I just decided to go back to college. I entered this program where it was like, shout out to Bay Path University, Massachusetts. It was like, no, because they had this awesome program for like working people, and it was like a Saturday thing. But I went to school for 11 hours every Saturday for 4 years.
Oh wow.
Did my homework during the week, so it was like 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday I went to school. I took 2 classes a day on Saturdays. I did my homework through the week, worked, and took care of my kids. One day I get up, I'm on my way to work, my heart just starts palpitating, and I'm like, what is this? What's wrong? But then I can't breathe, and then I'm like, I call the doctor, but I call like my doctor's office, and I'm like, yeah, something's wrong, and it hurts when I inhale, but I don't want to go to the hospital. Like, can I just come there? And they're like, what? Like, tell me your symptoms. I'm like, I have heart palpitations. I'm having a hard time catching my breath, and when I do breathe, it hurts. She's like, you need to go to the emergency room. That sounds like
wow.
that sounds like whatever she thought it was, but she's like, whatever, we can't treat that in the office. You have to go to the emergency room.
Dang.
I went to the emergency room and sat there for 5 hours for them to tell me that it was panic attack.
Sheesh.
That's crazy.
Man, I never knew that. I just learned all this physical stuff that y'all just talked about. Did you know that?
No, the only time I experienced that is after a Red Bull.
Oh my god.
That's what I said. The Red Bull.
That is, no, seriously, your body gives you
Yeah.
that same like effect because
crazy.
that's like a stimulant. And when you're anxious, your body it's overstimulated a lot of times. Like there's sometimes I can feel it coming, and it's like I have to just take deep breaths, focus on the now, because honestly, like you said, I'm sitting here stressing about something that hasn't even happened.
For sure.
I've literally got me and my kids sleeping in a car, but we have a home that I'm sitting in.
Did you see Independence Day? That's crazy. What are we gonna do?
Right. So it's just like trying to stay in the moment. But yeah, those symptoms are something terrible because, especially when you're experiencing them for the first time, it's scary. Like I thought I was gonna die.
That's frightening. Wow.
Mind you, didn't call an ambulance, took my chances and drove myself to the
Yeah.
ER. So I'm
What
like,
kind of gangster
oh my
you?
God, I'm
You
gonna
pretty
die in this car.
You're pretty gangster though, cause you was taking like Saturday classes all day. It's
You're
pretty
right.
gangster. Full time mom, full time work, gangster Saturdays. Not me. I'm flunking out of that program. Believe that.
I went out
Believe
last
that, Jack.
night.
Quick.
Like,
I'm flunking that for
Oh
sure.
my God.
And it's wild though.
Hard. But you know, you have a goal and you set yourself to it. And again,
Sure.
Part of a plan. I think I'm doing like a greater good. And all that did was add to my financial stress because I still am paying financial aid. And I don't have a better job than I had or had prior to that degree.
Not yet.
So,
Not yet though.
not yet.
Not
So
yet.
that
You
can be a
still
bit
here.
frustrating,
You
but-
are still here. You're
True indeed,
still
indeed.
vertical.
Yes.
And
Praise the Lord.
that mean there's more out here for you. So that's just not yet. That's not that story is not finished.
Not completed.
Yeah, for sure.
but it's-
Right on.
How so you guys didn't really know about these types of symptoms and stuff like that. So like when
I
you're
heard-
stressed out, what do you feel?
I sweat.
You sweat?
Yeah.
So when
If
you
I
start
start thinking
sweating-
hard right now, I'll start sweating. Right, it's not hot in here at all.
At all.
But yeah, I'll start sweating right now. But my grandma used to sweat like that. My mother sweat like that. My sister just sweat, hands, neck, forehead. Yeah.
I only stress if I think about it.
Yeah. So just turn off your brain. I got you, Dito.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about nothing?
That's
know.
how most people
don't know how to
look
do that.
at depression. And
Yeah, I don't know how to do
turn
that.
it off.
I don't know how to turn my brain off.
No, like there's been times I'm able to just sit and think about absolutely nothing, like nothing. There's not a process happening, like thinking about nothing.
Well,
That's almost like meditating.
are you in therapy?
I tried therapy for a bit. I do want to go back because I think what I enjoyed about it was that there was somebody there that, I guess, from a legal standpoint, can't say nothing.
So you can hear yourself.
So I can just say everything.
Dito, you murdered
and-
somebody?
and understand.
I looked around for my keys immediately.
Like,
Oh,
illegal
Dito
standpoint.
crazy to the slum, bitch. From a legal standpoint, they can't say shit about the bodies. Can't say shit about the bodies. Did you know that? Oh my God, I'm in his home.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
If I die, guys, he drugged me.
I didn't drink nothing. Girls in trouble.
But yeah, like it's just that I could say everything and not worry about the person that I'm talking to having some emotional response
Yeah,
to it.
little to no repercussion about
Yeah.
what you say to the therapist. I got
Yeah,
you,
so
though,
so that's why I did, and it wasn't because like I didn't feel I have any depression or anything like that. I saw it more as a preventative
Sure.
maintenance.
It's unique that you looked at it that way.
Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a lot of stuff on my mind that like I wanted to tell people, and I'm like, if I tell the people that these things can affect,
Sorry.
right?
I'm envisioning him telling the
fine.
therapist, like, now you be this person, and I'm gonna tell you what I wish I had told them.
Yeah, so it's like
Walk in, slam the door.
I don't want to deal with the fallout of, hey, me telling this person this thing,
And they get emotional.
Yeah, get emotional, and now I have to deal with the stress of dealing with their emotions.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
let me skip all of that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You use your therapist as a punching bag.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
man.
I mean, because it was one time, like, I felt, like, years ago, I felt a certain way about things that I've done in my past. And I remember I even called my parents and tell them about times that I lied to them
Oh,
that
goodness.
happened
You
years ago.
confessing.
And I just wanted to get it off of my chest. I was like, yo, I mean, it happened over 10 years ago. And I was like, you know what?
Different, my boy.
Right.
well,
You different. Not your boy.
yeah, like, at this point, like, it was one time, like, a friend of mine crashed my parents' car, and I took the rap for it. And I was like, well, yeah, technically, hey, I was responsible, but, yeah, it wasn't me. And this is what actually happened.
This boy over
Yeah,
there.
so,
The only confessions I mess with belong to Usher. That's it. I ain't going back to tell my mama all this mess.
mean,
You know how long we
confess
talking to
too.
my mother
I
about?
confess too, but it was more like, now I'm grown, and I did it way sooner than that. It was like early 20s. I'm like, yeah, remember that time I told you? Me and my friend with no license took her mom's car and went to New
Yeah.
York. You know what I'm saying? Like, little stuff like that. But
Man,
I guess I just did it
It was
just
too many- oh.
because, like, it wasn't like for
was it some sort of
a
purge?
soul
It was like a
cleansing
purge.
purpose. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, look at what I did when you thought I was
Nah.
doing this.
yeah. So,
Nah, man.
Still get whoopings.
I'm
Come
still
on,
an
man.
angel,
What?
mama. I'm an angel, mama. I didn't do nothing.
nah, but outside of that, like, it's just me thinking, hey, all of these things that go on in my head, let me just tell this to somebody. Now it's out. I ain't even got to worry about it.
Damn, you gonna do it again after quarantine?
I'm thinking about it. Probably, most likely.
Right on.
I'm sure you built up some
I need
shit.
to go back myself. It's
No,
been a while.
quarantine was good for me, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was good for a lot of people if they used it right.
yeah, I got a raise. It was, it was good,
This
man.
guy over
Listen.
here.
Trying to sit still. Forcing everybody to sit still, I
Yeah.
think, to kind of deal with self
Mm-hmm.
was a good byproduct.
I
of-
mean,
of
it
this
could be
point
good,
in
but
time.
it could be bad because I'm sure that for a lot of people that sparked, like a lot of people lost their jobs
Oh,
during
yeah,
this
no, yeah.
quarantine,
I
and
mean,
a lot
for
of
sure.
people went through financial hardships. And like, Crystal, if you didn't use your resources correctly,
Mhm.
then you could have, been struggling.
Sure.
I know that was one of the things for me. Like, I did pretty good. I didn't get back. I got into a little funk, I'll call it. Like, when it's like before you hit that depression, but like you're just not in a great way. But everybody has good and bad days. So I
For
try
sure.
not to read too much into it. It's just a bad day,
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost a good ass job because of that quarantine.
You did?
Yeah.
I damn sure did.
Aw.
But the book's still being written.
The
Yeah.
book's still being
Like you
written.
Like you said,
You still here.
you still here. Like
Yep.
there have been a lot of
Still
people
here.
that committed suicide.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's also part of the downside of the quarantine and everything. There's been a lot of physical, domestic violence
Yeah.
happening. I mean, if it was happening before and now you ain't got no place to go.
Yeah. I would imagine that's crazy.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like
I can't even imagine what that's like to not be able to be comfortable in your own home and feel like you're scared. So for this quarantine, I can imagine a lot of mental health issues that people didn't even know they had.
Had.
over
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Oh.
Came to the surface, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're spending a lot of time with yourself
or
and
with
or
people.
people. Thank you.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
you love, but
And listen,
I've never lived with a woman.
What?
No?
Never. Not once. So I'm always interested to hear people's stories about, what's going on in their house. Cause I never lived with
That's
a
interesting.
woman.
Really?
I've never lived with a woman, not once. Not even close. Nah, yeah. My mama, but
Yeah.
She don't count.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I've never when I left my mama's house, I was just out here dolo.
Not even your
Not
baby
so.
mama? No?
What's that?
Your child's mother?
What happened to her? She okay? Nah, I'm just playing. We never lived together. Nah.
Damn.
Oh
Nah. We wasn't even together when we made that child. We'll say that for another.
Oh,
Say that for another
episode.
podcast.
alrighty.
We wasn't even together when we
So-
made that child. Yeah.
So, with that said, what about? Do you have any stresses with that child support or anything like that, or you're one of the
Nah.
lucky few?
When it came to my son, and his well-being, it just wasn't nothing I wouldn't do.
Okay.
So there's never been a need for courts or any of that. Like we've always, we've been in sync when it came to my child, and I know that's not everybody's story,
Mm-hmm.
sadly, you know what I mean, but yeah, I've never had any. I worry about his well-being, of course, but anything financially was always, a given in a way. Like it just is what it is, and that was from, formula and diapers and daycare to whatever. You know what I mean? Like we're in the middle of filling out college applications now, and I've spent, I don't know, almost $1,000 college applications.
You have to pay for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His son is smart too, so the colleges he applying to.
Yeah,
Are
no college.
expensive, 'cause
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a lot.
They run it up. But it is what it is.
Mm.
He's worked hard. He's put the work in. So if he applying to this school, he applying to this school. We just gonna do whatever we got to do. It is what it is. He put the work in. So shout out to my baby boy. Just in case you out there watching, boy. Just had in my boy. Just had in my boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. So,
Okay. Now, not to dive into people business, but you with your baby's father?
I am not. I did move down here in a relationship, and that didn't work out. But that was also a hard thing because he also had depression and anxiety.
Mm.
So that was just like
Y'all relocated together
Yeah,
and then separated in Florida.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that sounds challenging.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you get down here and you see what
Yeah.
things really are about, and it was just
Yeah.
like, look. And honestly, everybody's situation is different. But in my situation, living with somebody else that had those same problems, where it was like I constantly needed to be his security and his safety net, but I didn't really have one. So it was like twice the anxiety and depression. It was
sure.
like
You're
it
taking
was
on.
all on me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I couldn't do it anymore, and I literally felt like I was on the verge of a mental break, and it was like, okay, it's either keep this situation or save me.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you about to do?
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Yes.
wild.
And I chose to save me.
Facts.
So.
I hear you loud and clear.
That's interesting because I hear a lot of stories where it's normally the female that's always being the backbone, always supporting the guy with whatever he's going through. And I mean, I've never had that experience. Like me neither, bro. Yeah, I put all my ish to the side to say, you know what? Let me make sure everybody else is okay.
It's cool, yeah.
But because I imagine you went through that too. So how is it you're able to still function when you're not only dealing with your own issues, but you're dealing with somebody else's too?
I really haven't had to deal with that because I've been living on my own since I was diagnosed, so I haven't really had to deal with that. But I will say what I do talk to my therapist about a lot is dealing with mental health issues, being married, and having kids. Because I have a dog, and there are days where I might be, very anxious or be dealing with my depression, and I may not feel like going outside to walk her or playing with her or petting her. Not trying to relate a dog to a kid, but just saying how that attention I might not be able to give to a child every day. So how can I as a woman be comfortable with saying, yes, I want kids until I find a man that I know can handle me when I'm in that space?
And it's hard
And be
because
able to help me.
I do still have a child at home, and like when my anxiety is high, I do get snippy. Like,
Mhm.
I'm easily angered. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
like, literally a ride home from work, like you said, like, because I also get sweaty when I have an anxiety attack. You know what I'm saying? Like, because your body is doing all of this, it's doing
Pumping.
all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
so, like, you get hot,
Yeah.
and whatever the case, and so, like, it is hard. I have to really work on that. I'm a big advocate on like my daughters. I'm very open with them. They're older. They're 20 and 16, so it's not like I got babies. So I can talk to them and they know. And I'm big on apologize. Like, I let them know, like, I'm so sorry, or we always. And I just try to be conscious and be aware so that I'm not too much or overly
Sure,
whatever.
sure.
Because in reality, it's my problems are not other people's problems. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what I'm going through is for me to deal with, and I have to make sure that I can still maneuver in the world regardless of what I'm going through. Because when I have a horrible day, or when I'm not feeling well, or when I get up and I'm just like not at my best,
Yeah.
I still gotta go to work.
Yeah.
I still gotta.
Most people do.
I still gotta
Yeah.
take care. Right. So, like,
Yeah.
you just gotta learn how to kind of
Mhm.
coping, like,
Sure.
things to cope, and
Sure.
so that you can and get through your day. I get quiet, so, like, I'll go to work, but I don't really talk to anybody, and I'm not like mean, but I say
Yeah.
my hellos and stuff, but I'm just
Yeah,
not
yeah,
as
yeah.
talkative as I normally am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Nah,
I
I think
just
I'm like
keep to
that
myself,
too.
and then when I get home,
That's why therapy's so good.
I keep to myself.
Yeah.
So it can
Therapy's so
definitely be
good.
hard though when you're trying to maneuver it with a family, because the kids don't know, and then I worry about them because I'm like, isn't this kind of stuff hereditary? Like, so, or just the fact that they've seen me deal or go through it,
Yeah.
and they're growing up. So then I worry, like, okay, like, I don't want them to suffer from this. So I try my best to be as positive with it as possible,
Sure.
just because I know they're watching.
You mentioned having open dialogue though. That's gotta help though. Like, even in those rough moments, right, where y'all can still have some sort of conversation, even if not like right in the moment, maybe after whatever. I think that exposure, it feels like it's healthy.
And I try to let them know also, like, the positive ways that I try to cope with it, so that way if they do ever find themselves in that situation, like, that's why I with the therapy and, like, having a friend, like me and Crystal, that's my dog. So, like, if I have to call her, I will literally be like, I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of day you're having. Are you open to my shit? Because
Let's normalize that.
I'm having
Yeah.
a rough day.
That ain't normal
Let's
at all.
normalize
I'm having
that.
a rough day, but
That's
I don't
very-
want to put it on you if you're having a rough
People
day
will
too.
just people will just call you and puke on you.
You got a special guest
Yeah.
walking in.
Oh, we got a special guest coming in.
Snap. Oh, snap. Who is this?
Surprise guest on the podcast.
I know who it is. This boy. This Haitian sensation.
You can sit over here.
You gonna see that, huh?
So you can sit right there, right? You
Yeah,
cool
you can
right
sit
here.
there. You want
I'm cool.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sliding a little bit.
You always got somewhere to be.
Slide, man.
Can't stand that. Hey.
Hey. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Get your black ass in here. Get your black ass in here. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So catch you up real quick.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Have a good reason though.
So it's Tuesday afternoon.
You better
and
have been voting. Wish you was voting.
No, I voted already, but nah, my sister had having a girl.
Oh, way to go!
Congratulations.
Yay. Which
Congrats.
sister is this?
My oldest sister.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I probably shouldn't have went back
Uno, dos, tres.
because it's love. It's love.
Yeah, that's Niecy coming into the world.
Yeah. But anyway, what was the topic?
Yeah, so we talking on mental health and how it affects men and women
Anybody
differently.
suffer from
Apparently we all have.
it? Okay, I
Yeah.
suffer from anxiety. I get that
Oh,
all
okay.
the time.
So yeah, tell us your story with it then.
Honestly, not to get into the specifics, but I do have, I realize I do have triggers, it's only when I'm overwhelmed that I actually start to feel my anxiety. And it's weird because at first I didn't know what to do with it. Honestly, I am. I'm gonna be honest. I'm one of the people that don't believe in going to a therapist, but I know I should.
We talked about you
That's
earlier.
on that too.
Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Rewind it later.
I want to say it's an island thing, but I don't know. I just don't feel like it's. I feel like we should be strong enough to handle it. But lucky for me, I think I want to. I gotta give a shout out to my sister because she's actually one of the ones who kind of helps me through it. She taught me something in as far as just relaxing and just trying to figure out one, what caused my anxiety to flare up, two, what steps I needed to kind of take to get over it, and three, not to let it happen again. So I'm not saying that it happens a lot anymore, but because I've been kind of working through those practices, like analyzing, figuring out how to keep it from happening again, I'm better at controlling it, managing it for the most part.
So how were there any physical manifestations of it?
When you say physical, do you mean like?
Because
I swear.
Like a panic,
Yeah,
like a
there's a-
panic attack,
Like
or
Yeah.
physical symptoms, like
Yeah.
we talked about, like during a
Sweating.
panic attack, how we've
like the heart would beat
Can't
real
breathe.
heart
fast.
palpitations,
Yeah,
you
they talk
start
about, like, heart
sweating.
palpitations.
Heart, the heart happens. I do get angry.
Okay.
I get hella angry because I'm like, this actually for me started happening after one of my closest friends passed away. Before that, I never had an anxiety attack. And after he passed, I just felt like, I don't know, something kind of clicked in my head, and I just started having them like randomly. When they were like, I was terrified because I didn't know what they were. I'm not gonna. I watched Breakfast Club and Charlemagne the God. I actually read his book, and that's when I realized that's what it was.
yeah,
You know, so I was like, oh my God, this
feels
is what,
kind of like a heart attack a little bit.
yeah. It's just it's a terrible feeling. I hate going there.
Horrible.
Yeah, y'all all
It's
said the same
horrible.
thing. It's so crazy to me about how awful it is, and I don't know. That was pretty. That was eye opening for me to hear them talk about it like that. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't got none?
I never had an anxiety attack
Well,
Yeah.
or a panic attack or nothing like that.
well,
If I get nervous, I sweat.
Why.
Well, yeah, no, I'm
You
a
on
crazy
stage a lot.
person. I'm a crazy person.
And like you said,
Apparently.
like triggers are important. That's one thing we didn't touch on, but learning your triggers are very
Yes.
important because, like that, being overwhelmed will do it. And it's so weird how like anger ties into that so much. Like, I think that's a symptom or a trait for a lot of people. Like I was just telling them, like when I get anxious, I definitely am like I'm very short. Like I don't have. I'm very like on it. Just a ride home like can be so stressful just because I'm already anxious. So like I'm snippy about everything.
Right, makes
Like-
sense.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Nah, for real, like, cause y'all all describe like very similar physical things, and I just like a heart attack. That's wild to me.
Yeah, but you being a comedian, being on stage, don't you
Yeah.
use a lot of personal things in your acts?
Sometimes it depends on what's going. If I have a lot of time,
Okay, so
Yeah.
See my face.
so wouldn't that be like therapy too? You saying what's on your mind?
it's. I guess it's therapeutic in a way. I hear a lot of comics say that they're like, when I'm on the stage, that's my therapy, and I'm like, nah, not really, not like that. It's. I'm feeding. When I'm on stage, I'm feeding an addiction. Which is, what's gonna happen?
What if I say this?
Yeah, if I say this, like if you see me, if I'm on stage and I grab the stand and I look down, I'm having a moment where I'm like, well, here we go. You know what I'm saying? And I'm feeding, like it's an adrenaline rush in those moments because sometimes you're creating something right then and there.
So
You know what I mean? Or you trying something for the first time right
You
then
don't
and
know how
there.
it's
And
gonna turn
you've
out.
already got a feel for the crowd and you're like, hey man, I wrote this to myself. I wrote this joke a couple days ago. Huh? Shit, okay. And then you just, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm feeding more of an addiction. It's not necessarily therapeutic to me because I'll go to people I know for that. You know what I mean? And these are strangers. So I don't, they can't help me. At least in my mind. For the comics that use it as a form of therapy, cool, but not for me. Like, this is an adrenaline rush more than anything. And I'm about to talk to y'all about something crazy, and we just gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So not for me per se.
So don't that kind of go down like another path? Like you said, it's more of an addiction.
Definitely.
So, I mean, could you not do it?
Could I not do stand up?
Yeah.
I would need another outlet for the. I just want to say some shit sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I just want to say some shit.
So you could just have a podcast.
Yeah, but I want to say it. There's nothing. Look, I'm clearly here on a podcast, right? But if I was here like without y'all faces, it would be less important to me. Like, if I just had y'all voices and I couldn't see y'all faces, like, I want to say something and look you dead in your face.
That's how I
Like,
feel about all Zoom calls.
that's what I want. Like, I live on that. And I there's times when I'm on stage, I connect with somebody who just I can see. You don't even necessarily got to be somebody in the front, but maybe somebody I can just see. This person right here. And I just, I'll talk to you the whole show. Everybody else is here, but I'll look at you the whole show. Like, hey, man, you wearing that yellow today. You killing it. I like when girls be killing it like that. What's up with the back of your ankle, though? Like, why the back of your ankle? I saw your ankle earlier. It was, and this, but as, not her ankle. Her ankles are fine, but I'm saying, like, I might start that conversation with somebody.
Lotion is important.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
People
And people are laughing, but I'm really like, oh, I saw the back of your ankle earlier. You been moonwalking backwards? All like, what you been doing today? Like, I just want to say some shit and see what your face does. That's the addiction.
You can have a TV show.
It's funny because just to kind of go back to mental illness, I use an addiction to help me through my mental illness.
Okay. This is the part where we talk about the crack, or
No. Like, for me,
I'm like,
for me, it's working out. Like, when I feel like when I had a bad day, when I had an anxiety, can't even say it no more. Y'all know what I mean. If I had an attack that same day, I need to go hit the gym.
okay.
working out does help.
Because that anger is still there. So you got to get that out.
So like those things y'all said, like if there is one, I would classify them as healthy addictions.
Okay.
But
That's definitely a healthy addiction.
That is.
You're going to the gym.
You can hurt yourself in the gym though.
Yeah,
But as long as you don't, it's healthy.
Right.
It's the healthiest addiction I can think of.
But has anybody ever dealt with unhealthy ones? Alcohol, any type of drugs?
First of all, weed is not a drug. Thank you.
I didn't say weed.
I
I didn't say weed.
Okay, you didn't say weed. My bad. But I know you insinuated
No,
it.
nah.
Okay.
Weed is a plant. You never heard?
Thank you.
But
I
it was-
definitely did.
Thank you.
I coped with wine. I was literally like, I was making sure I had wine like every single night. And it's not like wine is heavy, like, no, I'm not an alcoholic, whatever. But like, it got to a point where I was like, okay, like, don't go get the wine. You know what I'm saying? Like, go home and just go home. And maybe, some trees are always nice. But yeah, the wine I had to
She
let
just
it
ran
go.
by that. Hey, but some trees.
Hey,
Trees is nice though. I heard that.
Just for the record, a teacher told me this one time. He said, God is perfect, man is not. Man made bear, God made pot.
He did. He did. Not the government either. Make sure we remember that too.
No, I don't know.
So many conspiracy theories going around. I don't know what to believe no more.
What's happening?
Yeah.
What is happening, man? We live in very strange times.
Very.
For sure.
That we do. I mean, well, so what about like sexual? I guess we could go in more addiction, sexual
Yeah,
addiction.
nah, pop it off.
Yeah.
Pop off. Pop
Any
off.
Any issues with that?
What you mean? Whoa, issues? What are we talking about?
No, like
Pop off.
Like some people,
Does the
become
depression affect your
nymphos.
ability?
I mean, we could go that route too.
Oh,
but I was
so that's
meaning,
what
like,
he
has anybody ever had
Like
like being a
use
nympho?
that
Yeah.
As their coping
Oh, a coping
Yeah.
mechanism.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe if I had one around, I would have at the time. I don't know, but no. For me, no.
I definitely feel like This is awful. Oh, y'all, maybe this is not awful. I'm not.
No, it's
I'll,
not.
I'll look at your faces. We'll see what happens.
Oh shit.
Just free zone.
I definitely feel like at one point I was having a lot of angry sex as a way to release like frustrations and she's okay. Maybe she was doing the same. But we was just dating and we was just like we randomly just pick fights. You ever thought about cereal? What I'm trying to say is we was picking fights so that we could get to angry sex instead of having maybe more conversations that could have been meaningful to try to resolve some other things. But instead, you did not ask me if you could open up my Cocoa Puffs. And now this has escalated. But we're on the kitchen floor. You know, we ain't even make it to her. You know, I hope all that made sense to everybody. But I feel like that was, and then it became a habit. It became a habit. Before I'm being so serious though. It became a habit until somebody would finally, I don't even know if it was me or her, was like, this is stupid. Can we talk to each other? You know what I mean? Let's have some conversation. You know. So that's my story about angry sex. Ray?
I think you said enough for both of us. It's important to communicate. Hey, that's it. It's like, even though it's nice to get the anger out, it's still important to communicate so you have a way to manage it. Because
sure.
again, it's fine to supplement the talking with like some physical things like gym, sex.
Gym.
That's both will still work out.
Yes. I was tired.
But at some point you're gonna have to deal with it in the best way that's gonna be healthy for you. So, yeah, I mean, I don't got a better story than about some Cocoa Puff. I know how much milk I want in my cereal, but that's important to me. But
just randomly.
it's important to me, y'all.
Anybody that puts the milk in first before the cereal,
That's
they're completely psychos. They'll kill your whole family. So
I can see that.
just a heads up, isn't it? That's why since we talk about cereal real quick, real quick.
do it.
I like my cereal dry, like not a lot of milk, but just enough that I can
Splash.
still get that crunch at the like top.
Crunch with a little.
Yeah, well,
I got you. But
I got
cereal
you.
first, right?
But
Hey,
yeah, the cereal definitely
serious
first.
conversation
You know what I'm
about cereal, man.
Yeah.
You don't want too much. You don't want too much milk. No.
Yeah. Nah. I need
But yeah,
Listen.
And these are the kind of things that can happen on this podcast. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
I don't want cereal.
it's when in bouts of deep depression or deep anxiety, have you guys felt like you lost any sort of sexual drive?
Yes. I
Yes.
definitely did. But I also think it was just because of my circumstances.
Okay.
I think if I was in a different circumstance, like, then maybe I wouldn't have. But yeah, I did.
Okay. Anybody else?
it's hard for guys to lose that drive.
I
probably.
would say I have, but okay.
I think y'all are so different than us.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're both like, we have, and they're like, yeah, we don't lose that.
Like nothing physical happens to y'all.
Yeah,
so
little bit of friction, we good to go.
I like sex.
Yeah.
it's good to know.
I think
I always wanna
could
do
speak
it,
for
for
every
sure.
guy when you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna fight you on
Women
that.
like sex too.
We're not saying you don't like sex.
So,
Man,
I just don't know if we like sex the
listen.
same way.
We don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to go on a tangent. I'm gonna stop myself.
that's a topic for next week.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
It is.
Oh, that could be on talking about dating next week, right?
Yeah.
That on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has anybody ever dealt with any type of physical or verbal abuse?
Verbal for sure.
Verbal.
I've definitely dealt with some verbal.
I'd say some verbal.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for me to get. I feel like I'm being verbally abused because like very little gets to me. It's more like actions that bother me,
Okay.
or how can I put this? like someone trying me is not going to make like any of my anxiety or anything flare up. It's more so an expectation that's being thrown my way that will have me flare up and go crazy. But if someone did trigger, you would have to say something really low for me to get like deep in like some
Yeah.
dark shit.
People do it though.
Yeah, people do it. I haven't.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm blessed because I haven't come across any spiteful people
Yeah.
like that.
Good for you.
But I did have an ex that was like she would do things that would trigger me, and I knew at that point I'd much rather not deal with you.
She's not
That's
a press.
crazy.
She's not a pressing buttons.
Yeah, it was not even pressing my, cause I'm very unbothered, but like don't go out your way to try to trigger it. Like that's weird to me. I
She
think
put
people-
effort into the.
Yeah, that effort, because like when you in a relationship, right? And I don't mean to go into a relationship, but when you're in a relationship and you know you have these problems, right? You will probably share it with that person, so that person knows that weakness. Not necessarily saying that's a weakness, but
No,
that problem
yeah.
in you. They should never use that problem against you, because if they really cared, they would never try it.
Right.
Right.
But there are some spiteful people that are like that. And at that point,
Go
you'll be a
back
fool
to-
to stay.
You know what? I don't know if you know what I was about to say. Do you still watch Married at First Sight? Sorry to bring that up. again.
Here we
Back,
go.
back to this.
No, I only watched that one season.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, I'm gonna say it. The black man on there,
Yeah.
Miles.
Oh, why you gotta be a black man? Well, we gotta-
Miles, I
Give him-
commend you for this. He opened up to his new wife, Karen, that he suffers with depression. And so you know how they
Karen, she white?
no, she black.
Black
But
Karen.
she's
I thought
like
it was
Yeah,
white,
yeah,
too.
But
exactly.
she
I just
like-
had to ask.
Goddamn
she like
Black
egg-
Karen.
she like bougie black though. Just picture that.
That is one of the
And he's
blacks.
like chill, straight from New Orleans, like chill,
Thought she was
black guy.
age.
Oh my god. So he opened up to her and said he deals with depression. And then you know how they switch and they go to like little interviews. She was like, I don't want no weak man. And I was just like,
Wow.
this is why black men will not
Can't open up.
open up.
They are literally like
Or
from
go
It's
to
taboo.
therapy.
or
It's taboo,
less.
man.
Like-
It's still taboo on a major
We
scale.
have a lot of work to do when it comes to that. Like as a
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
we
But-
got a lot of work to do.
Do you guys think that like nowadays everybody seems like they're going through something though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people are though.
But,
We
you know,
But it's-
and maybe it's because we've been so silent about it. Like,
Right.
you don't
Yeah.
realize how many people are actually going through something.
Right.
I think people have been going through stuff. It's
Yeah.
just that now that it's becoming like a forefront issue where now like I don't even want to say affluent, but like people of color who actually have some type of influence are speaking on mental health now. And so I think it's bringing to the forefront these things that people didn't even know was something. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or
Yeah.
like, damn, that's why I do that. Or like, wow, that's what that is. Or
But my thing is how to differentiate between a bad day and depression.
Right. I was just
Because
about
you
to
could
ask
still have some of the same symptoms, but is it a
think-
chemical reaction
I
or are you
think-
just having a bad
I
day?
think
maybe
depression-
it's, maybe it's the length of time that it goes
That's
through.
like what I was
Sure.
gonna say.
'Cause, I mean, sometimes I wake up and just have a bad day, but I've never experienced depression how other people describe it.
Okay.
I've been depressed, but
It's a very low.
maybe
Yeah.
a day or two, and then yeah, that's gone, done. with.
How dark has y'all depression gotten?
Y'all already know. Y'all want me?
yeah.
She hit us with the y'all already know.
And for me, I'd say honestly, like, you know, it's nothing that it makes me sad to say it out loud, but like, I would never, ever, ever. I used to pray to not wake up, and I would never like put myself in a position or harm myself because I have kids. You know what I'm saying? But I literally would just be like, you know, you don't see it fit tomorrow.
You mean
it's
you want to
okay.
stay up in bed?
You know what I'm saying? Huh?
You just want to lay up in bed, right?
No, I was like, if you don't
Take
want
me in
to
my
wake
sleep.
me up tomorrow,
Yeah.
that's okay. Like,
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
That's there.
I've experienced that.
yeah, you know, and
Wow.
it's just like saying it out loud. I feel so selfish because I have babies that I know
Yeah.
would have be extremely hurt from that, and that
Yeah.
you know. And again, it was never anything that I would bring upon myself or would have brought upon myself, but I just felt so like horrible and just so like what the
Wow.
fuck is next? Like, what the fuck is there? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
if this is what every day is gonna be like, fuck this shit.
It sounds like what
You
you're
know?
describing is like a feeling of like hopelessness in a way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's crazy.
So, you know, it definitely, it can get serious. I got to the point where I wanted to take really crucial further steps. Like, I really wanted to do something drastic as far as, like, go and, you know, go for a hospital stay or whatever. But I had to just work with therapy and the few good friends that I have and my kids to work me through that, because it just wasn't an option at the time. Like,
Right.
where I was living down here, me going to a hospital for a week, everybody homeless.
Right.
Ain't nobody eating.
Right.
I was the breadwinner, so wasn't nothing getting done if I wasn't there.
Makes sense.
So I couldn't. I had to just work through that
Do you
shit.
think that pressure of being that provider
We talked
Could
about
you-
that.
contributed to it? Oh, it did.
Yeah, well, we
Okay,
talked
let's
about-
not-
Yeah, just
No.
rewind it.
Dang, my
Rewind it
bad.
later.
I was definitely late.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
We
tell.
just talked about financial stress, or like how finances can definitely be a trigger for most.
I
you
don't
know.
think it's, and maybe y'all probably already said this, and I know I was late, but I don't think us as humans were meant to work like the way we do.
Yeah.
No. we weren't.
Even though it's like some of us don't have like very physical demanding jobs, I think just the fact that we have to put 8 hours every 5 days out the week, some of us more.
Some more,
For
and
sure.
some more than 8 hours, because
Yeah. I don't think that's no, because even if you think about back in, what do I know? I wasn't there back in the day, but
Right.
farm hours, when
Yeah.
they were, those hours don't even line up with their hours. So
Yeah.
like we have been trained, programmed since like elementary school to be in this cog that's not really meant for all of us. Like for me, because I like to think of myself as a very artistic person and free spirited person. So having a strict 8 hour shift, even though it's manageable for me, it's not ideally what I would prefer to do. And that I feel like that sometimes helps triggers my anxiety, just
Oh,
being
yeah.
in that
Sure.
cog and knowing that
Facts.
this is madness and I just want to get the hell up out of it and just
Yeah.
for a second walk to the beach and just relax. Or again, go to the gym and lift some weights.
Yeah,
Or spend some time with like friends or family that I don't
Yep.
get to see as often. I think those things, that's why I think it's very important not to take anybody for granted. But I think having those experiences help balance out this problem I feel like I've dealt with, is just making sure I'm always there for friends and family, and knowing that, yeah, I got to go back into this cog, but outside this cog, I have something that keeps me at peace. I think finding those things are important.
I think
That's,
so too.
that's definitely true. And I think about Europeans, like, they don't work as hard either. Well, they take like 5-hour lunches.
Right? Like,
It's
they
only
get a
in America.
siesta.
It's
What is
only
that? Like
in
a
America.
Yeah,
2-hour
many-
naps during the day. Like,
And they go home, they with their family. Everybody has
We-
family time.
work,
Yeah,
work
we
for no
as
money.
a country, we probably behind on that.
We're behind on a lot
On
of
some
stuff.
levels. We're probably a little. Well, definitely. I mean, there's so many studies that show that there's better ways to create a more productive work environment if you include these different elements for your employees, and we just kind of behind on that. So,
We don't care if it doesn't help
There's
the bottom
n-
line.
nah,
Yeah.
I think
because we'll
yeah,
fire you and find somebody else. to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think as a country, people in general, we've lost purpose. We have nothing to drive us. What drives us is waking up every day,
We waiting for a
Social
going to
president.
work, going to work, coming home, seeing that paycheck at the end of the week.
We
And
waiting
social
for a president
media.
to save us, and neither one of these presidents are gonna save us. By the way,
No.
Just wanna put that out there. They're both trash. They are.
They
They're
are.
both.
No.
They're both are trash.
I literally said that yesterday
They
to
both trash.
somebody. I was like, it's crazy we're going through all this, and the options are like shit and vomit. Like,
Yeah.
those are the options.
Those are the
Like,
options.
what do you want?
I heard
I'd rather
somebody
shit, though.
actually say,
Which one is the shit though? Which one?
yeah,
We'll
I don't
start a
even
whole
know.
nother
I didn't
conversation.
assign one.
yeah,
We'll start a whole nother conversation. So I'm gonna let that one
I'm
slide.
Leave that alone.
They're all shit.
I actually heard somebody say the other day we need to stop having the choices that we have to pick the
Two.
the lesser of two evils. We need to be able to pick the better of two goods.
Yes.
Right.
We got
Yep.
too
But
many
there's-
idiots.
But there's a
Yeah.
way to go about
Yeah.
that, and you can't do that if you don't get involved. Like, there's a way to make that happen,
Yeah.
but you won't be able to do that if you won't get involved. So
Yep.
people say that, and then they sit back and don't
Watch
do
everything
shit.
unfold.
Yeah, there's a way to go about that.
It'd be the same people that be like, I'm not voting unless somebody's talking about,
Yeah,
you
but then-
know,
but then it's
the
not
40
gonna
acres
change.
and a mule. And it's
It
like,
ain't
don't get
gonna
me wrong,
change.
I get it, but
Yeah,
like,
it won't change. Like
if you don't,
because
if
these
you
systems,
don't do anything, then what do you think is gonna happen?
These systems are in place, and they will remain in place. Power doesn't give away power
Right.
unapologetic. Like, it's not gonna happen if you don't do anything. You gotta do
I just-
something.
I just,
I actually like that. Power doesn't give away power.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Go look at every
just wanna
powerful
say-
regime ever.
one thing before we get off this topic. I don't know if you guys went to the Amway yesterday to vote, but apparently they had a concert out
Yeah,
there.
I was there. I saw it.
Yeah.
and
Why
it-
do we have to be bribed to
it,
vote?
it deterred me from voting, actually.
Why do we have
Right.
to bribe? Why do we
They still
have to
have
be
a
bribed?
They still
Free,
having it.
wait, free food, like, but why?
still having it right
that
now.
money could have went to affordable housing
Yeah.
that
But
the
the
Democrats
kids are
paid
not
to get
able to
Anthony
vote.
Hamilton out there.
Because
Yeah.
again, as a community, we have a lot of work to do.
That's
Sure.
crazy to me.
They still out there right
That's
now.
why.
I live by the
I
Amway.
know, I know.
They're out there right now.
That's crazy to me.
And
They
I'm-
said a part of it is a celebration for those who have never been able to vote because of like felonies and things like that. That's part of the
Well, I
celebration.
thought that was still held up in courts, though.
Nope, a judge overturned
No.
it.
Oh, that's
Because you
good
know
news.
some judge out there was doing his job.
Right.
You feel me?
And then there was like one other person who offered to pay all of their fines so that they could vote. I
Yeah,
think
There
it
is
was,
a-
Mike Bloomberg.
There is
Yeah.
a coalition out there too that's helping.
Yes,
felons
it's
get
the
registered.
battle isn't over, but for now,
Yeah.
for now, those people can vote even if they still owe some sort of probation,
fines or something.
fines and
Okay.
things like that.
That's good.
Because it's so easy for you to get a job when you're a felon.
Right.
Yep, to pay those
To pay
fines.
those fines.
It's so crazy because
Poll fines.
a lot for this specific party. I don't mean to go into politics. I'm so sorry.
You
For
doing
this,
it?
this specific
About
party.
to set Dito off.
This is a trigger. Make it
This-
quick.
this-
Make
okay.
it
'Cause
quick.
we
This
not
is a
working with
trigger.
this trigger.
It probably would benefit them more to let felonies vote and not make it so difficult than it would the other party.
Well, so here's the thing, right? And I don't, in terms of this, and I am I being triggered right now? I don't really care where your party affiliations fall on this. If we are a democratic republic, then it should always be efforts to make it easier for people to vote and voice their opinions. And it seems like one side is trying to restrict your vote. The other side is trying to give you the easiest path to the vote. But not because they're great, because it benefits them.
Because it benefits
Right?
them, exactly.
And if
Exactly.
and what I always say to myself is, if it didn't benefit them, would they behave like the other side?
Absolutely.
Right? When really, again, because of the kind of unique democracy that we have, it should just be easy to vote for everyone.
Everybody, period.
Period. Like it just
Just
should-
a human right.
People already fought and died for it. They
Right.
already
You know what?
fought and died for it. It already happened. And so many just little tricks, and we redrawing maps, and we it's like
With that red line in.
it just
It stresses you out.
It does bother me.
It triggers you.
You get hot,
Because
bro.
I am my neck is hot. I'm gonna need some serial kitchen sex after this.
I like how you made that full circle. I appreciate that.
But I wish as a nation we could just see that as everybody's voice should be counted. Everybody should be able to vote. Even if you, in 2016, I was taking a lot of the elderly people. I was in a rental van on my own money, on my own dime, taking people elderly people who didn't have rides or didn't have ways to go vote. I didn't ask them who they was voting for. I didn't inquire about you should just be able to exercise your
You're
right. This
right.
is American. This is as American as apple pie. Do you need a ride to vote? Come on with your stupid MAGA hat. Come on. Get in here, Miss Mabel. And let's go ahead and cash your damn ballot. You feel me? Like, let's do it. Like, that's because you are American. You should be able. That is American as apple pie. Like, that's part of who we are.
I don't know why we can't vote online yet.
I do.
They hack that shit
Yeah,
up.
hack
They
the-
will
hack the shit out of that.
shit
Yeah,
out of that.
hacking that
No,
shit.
it-
Nah.
Not yet.
I
I
mean,
don't trust us to
it's-
do it yet.
I mean,
Nah.
it's all type of things that could be hacked. Some
I
people,
wouldn't take the
some,
risk.
some people say that the president is selected, not elected,
Right.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But if you trust yourself to go online with your banking information, you can't trust yourself to vote.
To
No,
vote.
but I've been,
Hold on,
I've been a victim
more
of fraud like
my
3
money,
times.
My money more important than who in the White House.
But you know what? You can call your bank and be
You
like,
don't
hey,
got to go
somebody doing
online.
something fraudulently
I
about
done
me.
been,
opt out of going
Right.
online.
And they
I done
will-
had fraud like 3 times last year.
You can
bro.
opt out of going online.
I just don't. It doesn't feel
We're not-
safe enough at this point
No.
until we can at least get on. Until we can at least say, hey man, the FBI saying
hold
these
on.
people trying to
So-
mess with us. Should we
so-
do something about it? Like
so
we can't even do that right now.
Here's a little simple thing, right? The Pentagon has an ongoing test for anybody that's able to hack them. They get $1 million on a job, right?
Cool.
Oh.
In the past 10,
That's
15
interesting.
years, there's been a literal handful of people that could do that,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Why can't we have them protected for our online voting?
Because individuals will always have an agenda,
Or be bribed.
or be bribed, or be taken
Yeah.
advantage of. It's just not the safest route.
No, but for one day, it took these people weeks to hack the Pentagon.
Don't matter. Our elections are done in weeks.
And how many people
Early
didn't
voting.
come forward for that Pentagon
Nah,
challenge
so what I'm saying is,
out here in the shadows?
huh?
Yeah.
How many people did not come forward for that Pentagon challenge to say, I ain't really worried about your punk ass million?
I can already
can
see
see
everything
your
right
punk
now.
I'm getting funded by such and such dark agency. I'm actually good where I'm at, and I don't got to be under the eye or the thumb of the government. Like I'm telling you, like I
Off
don't
the
want you to
grid.
think everybody heard $1 million was out there and was like, let me go try to. No, there's a lot of people was like, I'm cool.
I'm making that off
Probably
of one.
is.
Clickety clack clack clack, clickety clack clack. I'm good.
10 million.
I mean, it probably is, but I think
know what
we
I'm
could
saying?
I
I hope that eventually we can
Yeah.
get there. But that's not going to happen not because of the technology. You realize that, right? That's not going to happen because of the access to people that'll be able to vote. One side does not want you to vote. They don't. Puff Daddy had a campaign back in 2004. What was it called? Vote or Die.
Vote or Die.
Vote or Die.
Who
That
don't
was the-
remember
We got
that?
vote or die to death, right?
Right.
Vote or die. Like it was everywhere, right? Tons of money being poured into it because he supported one side. In sports, when somebody has a novel idea in sports, the next year, many other teams copy that idea from the success that it had or whatever, right? Have you ever seen a Republican vote or die campaign?
Nope.
Ever? Since 04? It's 16 years ago.
He said ever.
It would have been great for them to come out with their version of vote or die to encourage people to go out in masses and vote. They don't want you to vote.
They don't want
Because
people to vote.
and again, they understand the math. This is not, I'm not shitting on Republicans right now. Those guys are actually really smart as far as the political strategies. Larger
They are
voter,
pretty smart.
they are. Large voter turnouts traditionally end up in Republican L's.
Right.
So you haven't seen a vote or die campaign. You won't see a vote or die campaign.
But you said that was 04.
It was 04.
Didn't Democrats lose?
They did.
They did.
Yeah.
But
So-
they registered a lot of young voters.
Okay.
They set records registering young voters
Okay.
until 2008. And you know how those records
You
were
know
broken.
how those ones.
Yeah,
those
but they
records
set
were.
they set records. So it was successful, and it was trying to use social media platforms and things of that time to do it. Republicans had zero response in 16 years because it's not vote or die for them. And again, this is not me. I don't want to sound like
Just
I'm just
die.
shitting on Republicans, but they understand the math. They understand that the country is overwhelmingly progressive, not necessarily Democrat,
just
overwhelmingly progressive.
Yeah.
Even if people have conservative values, they're still okay with this and this and
Right.
So you make it so that people can pick up their phone and in a matter of seconds cast a vote. That equals a lot of L's for one side, for sure. Which is why you'll never see that happen.
I want to apologize now for changing the subject to politics.
Yeah, so- yeah, but I want you to know why you
Yeah.
never going. I want to speak specifically to why it's not going to be about the technology. It's going to be about giving that sort of access in an instant to so many people.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. And again, if this hurt the other side, if this hurt Democrats, they wouldn't want to do it either.
I agree.
They
Right,
wouldn't. If it hurt,
right.
they wouldn't want to do it. So I don't want
That's
to just
why
make them
Sounds
monsters.
one-sided, yeah.
They understand this math does not work out for them per se. You know what I mean? And when you speak about that 04 election, how did they win that election again? Do you recall? Oh, those votes never got found in Florida, huh? Okay.
No, I thought that was 2000.
Oh, 04.
No, they lost.
Oh, you talking about? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm talking about Kerry.
They lost the
yeah.
popular
Yeah,
vote.
it was 2000. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that
In 2000,
year,
they lost it. Yeah.
That year they lost the popular
in
vote.
04,
Yeah.
in 04, Bush.
It was just Kerry. He just
But
beat
yeah,
it.
Bush won.
But
that
Kerry was a
hands
bad
down.
candidate.
He
he
ain't win
wasn't
it
a
hands
horrible
down.
candidate,
Hold on.
but he wasn't charismatic though.
Listen, he didn't win it hands down. He didn't win the popular vote.
No, in 04, Bush won. Hands
But he
down.
didn't win the popular vote though.
He
No,
win the
I
popular
think in
vote
04
He didn't win the popular vote
No.
in 2000.
In 2000, he did.
In
2000.
04.
Oh,
Yeah.
John Kerry. Yeah, I got it confused too.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
That was the Kerry Edwards
Yeah.
ticket,
Yeah.
and Bush just won hands down because we were still at war. Let him finish what he started. That sort of thing. He won hands down.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right.
And they swift voted Kerry. I remember.
So right to bounce back.
Bounce
back.
Sorry.
Bounce back.
The
to
ladies
bounce
got on their
back.
phone. They were like,
Bounce
okay,
back.
these guys are there.
I'm about to bounce back.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
Bobby.
So I had asked whether or not anybody had physical or verbal abuse.
Sure.
You said, guy said
I said
verbal, right?
Yeah. I've definitely.
But-
Ray said nobody better try him.
Yeah.
But you just said
Ray
y'all,
said
y'all
yeah.
used to get into arguments, right? Sometimes I think that men have physical abuse on them, but they don't classify it as that.
Like you mean like a girl hitting you?
Yeah,
I've been slapped.
yeah.
But you did something.
Oh, definitely. I earned it.
So that's
Yeah, I earned
different.
it. I was talking crazy. I was young. I was still drinking Four Locos. You know what I mean?
I mean,
She slapped the shit out of me. I
had a
still
girl
had
throw
gold
an
teeth
iron
at the
at me
time.
one time.
Yeah.
You had what?
I had a girl throw an iron at me one time.
An iron?
Was it
Yeah,
a
it wasn't
hot one?
plugged in.
Was it a hot one or
Plugged
just
in.
a
I mean,
iron?
that's
Just
It
a
was
iron?
it was a big ass iron.
But
But at that-
sometimes you might get slapped though.
If I
Like,
never
oh.
got, have I gotten?
I
don't
definitely,
think
yeah,
so.
I've been slapped.
I don't think girls hit hard.
Not a lot.
Okay, but
Not
had
a
they
lot.
tried? Had they
Maybe,
Yeah.
Okay.
maybe not
The-
didn't take
it's, the
offense to
it's
it.
the verbal
It tickled,
abuse
right?
that I've
What?
experienced that
It
stood out
tickled.
in my mind more
It
so
tickled.
than
I would
anything
hate to fight.
physical like that.
I've had both. I've had police show up.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a real altercation.
Yeah, it took me everything to not just
Yeah, I'm glad you free, brother.
whop her upside her head.
It sounds like you
Yeah.
could be in.
No, for real, like,
She
like
called
she
5-0.
drew blood from me.
Yeah.
That's a
She
lot.
bit me.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
man.
Bit me till it drew
Yeah,
blood.
not even the sexy one neither.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
God.
But,
That didn't turn you on?
Look at your face.
nah, the neighbors,
God,
the
skin
neighbors
is so
called the
salty.
police,
Right.
and these two police officers showed up. Two Spanish guys
Yeah.
showed up, and as soon as I saw the police, I walked straight outside. My shirt was ripped. I had grab marks and everything, and they said, I told them what happened. They walked inside. They said, dude, you lucky no female showed up, because you would have been in cuffs right now.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, you guys' claims are
Yeah.
not substantiated. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like, I think a lot of men don't acknowledge it as that because you're looked at a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You're looked at it like he just said, I don't think women hit hard. Like, okay, so that being well, right, but that being a general consensus, I think with y'all men, it's like a
Just harder
stigma.
than
If
Yeah.
you
Don't hit the
admit
face.
to being like physically abused, but it happens all the time because I knew a lot of hot-headed women, like especially in your 20s, you're young, you don't whatever. I'm from up north, Broads is crazy up there, like like, and things happen. So
They really
Like-
popping off. They catch a wreck up there. I'm telling you. This shit is bananas.
it's not okay, but it happens.
Nah.
But like I think for y'all it's different.
I be leaving girls alone.
'Cause
I'm
I-
heartless about this shit. Like, ain't no girl gonna ruin my peace.
For real, I don't think
No, that's good,
anybody
though.
should allow their peace to be ruined.
For sure not.
Boundaries.
Right.
I tell my homegirls this. Like, some girls just like the chaos. Some people relish in it.
Some people in general like the chaos, I
Yeah.
think.
So,
Crazy.
question for you: was that the first time she had gotten physical with you,
Yeah.
and it went all the hell
Yeah.
out, huh?
Did you? I'm asking.
Like-
another-
There was one where she actually, it was verbal abuse, and never ever forget it. She had an abortion, and we got into a fight. I've never been so mad in my life.
I would be
and-
mad too.
Huh?
I would be mad.
No,
too.
no. After we
You
went
knew
through
she
the
was-
whole. Yeah, I knew she had the abortion,
Oh, okay. I thought she
but it
was
was
lying.
in the fight. She
Did you
said
agree on it?
reluctantly. I said I
That's
didn't.
not what I asked you. Did you agree on it?
I
Did
said,
you
I said,
want it?
huh? I wanted it. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
said I wanted the child, and I said I don't want you to do this, and she wanted to do it anyway. So, in an argument we had, she said, "That's why I'm happy I killed your child."
Oh,
See,
fuck.
what's her number?
Remember what I
Yeah.
was saying about
We need to roll
they
up on
purposely
her.
blows.
they purposely doing it?
Yeah.
That is spiteful.
That was just
as
wrong.
fuck.
Do it like before
You're
we
a
was
better man than me.
we was going back and
Fucked up
forth.
my
and-
text message. I was sending a text, but my text message say, "Oh,
Shit. No, I guess yes.
damn."
Because in
not
that
funny,
in that
dog.
argument,
That shit
cold
in
as
that
hell.
argument before she said that, she was actually like hitting me on my chest, and like I was
This was
just,
all within the same argument.
uh
Or was that this first argument where she was hitting you in the chest where
Just-
she said the low blow, that was
Uh-huh.
before the
that was
police
yeah
incident?
well before the police incident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so she was hitting me on my chest, and then she said that, and I was so angry. My only response was to leave. Literally,
Thank God that was your response. And
walk-
it wasn't to knock the hell
Shit
up
is
out of her.
crazy. Talking
Like-
so fucking reckless.
Yeah,
That's-
bruh,
See, I don't like
that
shit
was
like
No,
that.
that's
like, I ain't-
disgusting.
That'll
That's
make me. I
disgusting.
will leave you alone because
Yeah.
But
that's
what
just
I'm-
wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like when I think about the verbal shit that's been maybe hurled at me, it be shit that's wild. But it be shit that's like, I'm like, damn, this is so fucking disrespectful how this
Right.
person is talking to me. And it'll be so bothersome that I can't even sleep. And I'll know that even though maybe in the past this person does this with other people, I can't allow them to do this with me. And if I feel like it's something that's just, some people want to say some shit to you and be like, oh, it was just in the heat of the moment. You can't address, you can't size me like that. Because I real, like my dog said he unbothered. Bitch, I'm bothered, bitch.
Okay.
Like when
That
if
was
you
taken
cross a
there.
line like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I'm bothered because now you're just talking to me like I'm some sort of stranger in the street.
yeah, like
Yeah.
there's no care there at
You
all.
know what I'm saying? And I'll start replaying like all the shit I've done for you and maybe sacrificed for you or been there for you, and you're just out here talking to me like you don't even. And now I'm done with you. This shit is crazy, but now I'm done with you because I
Nah,
can't
you
I
gotta
can't
be.
continue to let that shit be like that. I got to do something.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
like
'Cause
like
it'll
Crystal
continue.
said, boundaries.
Yeah,
like
that
you
shit
gotta
will just continue.
gotta put up
So
something.
she was your ex-girlfriend, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Still
Have
your
any-
ex-girlfriend?
I haven't spoken to her
Oh, good.
in
Just making sure.
10 plus
You ain't even
years.
got to finish the other part.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
haven't
making
spoken
sure.
to her.
Yeah,
Period.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck
Has
that,
anybody
man.
else been triggered by
Fucking
people specifically?
Crazy. That's crazy.
Relationships,
what she
friends, family.
said. She talking so crazy.
Absolutely.
I feel like, when people know you and they're close to you, it's kind of, if they take the time to know you, they're going to know your triggers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have someone in my life, I feel like the motherfucker constantly is triggering me. That's why I keep it's like, it's hard for me to completely cut this person out of my life, although I have tried, but
Oh,
sorry,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
got a potty mouth, but...
Yes,
that
we need to
motherfucker
dwell
trigger
in
me
that
on
real quick.
a
Just-
regular basis, like, where I have to be like, okay, like, I can't communicate with you. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, please don't call me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's somebody that I've known for so long that it's just really difficult to completely cut them
Who
off.
is this person to you, if you don't mind sharing?
I don't mind, and it is my ex.
Yeah, of course. So
Is
now I'm
he-
confused.
No,
Why does this
hold
person
on,
still have
hold on,
access to you?
Hold on, wait,
Yeah, I don't know. Again,
I've been.
that's a boundary that I have had a hard time sticking with. Just
You
because
complicit.
Wait.
You're
I am.
complicit,
I
Keon.
am.
You have any kids with him?
No.
Oh, what?
You're complicit in
Hey,
this.
listen. I'm
I
gonna tell
just
you
known
something.
him a really, really long time.
Who gives a fuck?
I know.
You heard, bro.
I
You
know.
said
I
it before I
know.
said it. You are complicit in
I
this.
know. I
You
know.
know what?
Shit.
Listen.
I can't wait to talk
I
about
mean-
dating
Hey,
next
listen.
week.
I don't mean to say this, but it seems like you enjoy the chaos.
No, I don't. I
You
don't.
have to.
I don't enjoy
Then it
chaos
wouldn't
at
be
all.
nothing for you to get rid of him. And I don't mean to be like coming
Yeah,
at you
no, I feel
specifically,
you.
but
No, I definitely understand, and you're not the first person who has
Yeah.
said that. And I don't really know what
some,
it is.
Some definite energy
What
should
the-
be
Is it
invested
the
into
sex?
finding
You know
out what
I'm
it
s-
is.
No, we don't have sex. It's
then
not.
what
You
is
see what I'm
he
saying?
here for?
Like, for real, on the cool, like, you gotta spend some time figuring out why you haven't cut this situation off.
Yeah,
It's worth investing, right?
No, definitely.
Hell
definitely.
yeah.
I've attempted to. We've gone periods of time, but it's kind of like I don't know. It's like a guilt
You
thing.
like
I
him.
have to work on.
You
no,
like him.
no, I don't. It's It's when you care about somebody and you have, like, he was my friend first before we were in a relationship.
Sure.
He suffers from things, I suffer from things. Like I told y'all earlier, it became too much for me because I can't, like, hold my baggage and his, so it just became too much.
Yeah.
And so that's why I had to end the situation, but I definitely care about him as a person, as
Sure,
a human,
sure,
as an
sure.
individual. So
Sounds like you feel
although,
sorry for him.
okay,
Amen.
kind of.
That's
I
what
should.
it is.
Yeah.
You
All
big
right.
stupid heart.
Right.
Oh, alrighty.
She got a big old dumbass heart, don't she?
Oh, man.
Goof ass heart.
I ain't gonna say you feel it,
Yeah,
yo.
I'm on your neck.
So with,
For another time.
yeah, with that said, we are definitely going to continue this conversation at another date. Guys, let them know where they could find you if you're into that social media stuff.
So I am on social media. Instagram is at Paris Diamond Beauty.
She does makeup, y'all.
I do, I do.
Lashes.
Okay. Extra.
My Instagram, I just changed it. It's at Call Her Chrissy. No H in Chrissy.
You know what it is, man. Facebook, Comedian Clever. Instagram, whatever is _clever, that's clever with a K. Get at me.
Instagram never changes. I'm never, ever gonna change it. I am _Samson. And you can also find me on YouTube with my co-host reviewing television shows and cooking meals
Right on.
at We Cooking Reviews. Yeah, that's it.
Hey.
Facts.
Hey.
And y'all know me. Find me on Instagram at DetoxUrMind. Also at Your Opinion Don't Count _YODC. On Twitter, Y_ODC. Facebook and YouTube, Your Opinion Don't Count. We appreciate y'all. And next week, we are going to have a dating conversation.
That should be interesting.
So-
Y'all make sure
I'm
y'all
gonna be
So-
tune in for that.
I ain't been dating y'all.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
okay being single
all
right
right.
now.
Yeah.
Your
So
pass.
make sure to tune in for that. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, y'all.
Till next time, y'all.
Hey.
Oh my God.